Hello class, I hope you all are taking very good care of yourself. Today we are going to start the third chapter, that is human reproduction. So when it comes to human reproduction, we already know that humans only reproduce through sexual means. So we only show only sexual reproduction. Okay? Humans do not reproduce asexually. Okay, we cannot show or we cannot do asexual reproduction. Great. What else? We know that humans are viviparous, right? That is, we give birth to a young one, right? So in terms of human reproduction, humans only show sexual reproduction, and we give birth to a young one, that is, we are viviparous. Second or third, what we know, that we always show internal fertilization, right? Internal fertilization. Not only this, since we are viviparous, internal development as well. Great. So first thing, humans only sexual reproduction, viviparous, internal fertilization, and internal development. Great. Now let us see the life cycle of human beings, right? When we are talking about the life cycle, we know that we all start as a newborn, that is infant, and then infant grows into child, and then child grows into teen, and then into adult, right? And finally from adult they grow into old, and finally they have natural death. Correct? This is a normal course, right? Normal lifespan, and this entire thing happens naturally in about 60 to 70 years of time span. Well, now if we see this, now see the time duration between this infant up to adult is what? Juvenile phase, and this onwards, this is fertile phase. Right? Now there is a problem. When we see male and female, the fertile phase differs. Now if we are talking about the male, right, for the male the fertile phase is up to the death, but if we see female, usually the females are able to reproduce only up to 45 to 50 years of age. Okay, why? Because only up to 45 to 50 years of age they are able to produce the female gamete. Okay, now so at 45 to 50 years of age, in a female the menstrual cycle stops. As a result, they no longer can produce the female gamete, that is ovum, and hence they cannot do the sexual reproduction. That is, their fertility is gone. That is, their fertile phase only lasts up to this 45 to 50 years of age. Well, this time point, okay, or the time at which the age at which the menstrual cycle ceases or stops in a female is called menopause. Now this phenomena of cessation or stopping of menstrual cycle is called menopause, and it generally occurs at the age of 45 to 50. It varies from female to female. It may go up to 55 years of age in some female. It may come at an early age of like 42, 43. It totally depends on the female. Okay, so when we are talking about female, the fertile period is from the adulthood up to the menopause. But in case of male, there is no such thing, right? They keep producing male gamete up to their death. So even up to an older age, the males keep producing gametes. That is, theoretically, their fertile period never ends. Okay, great. So this is a difference. Keep in mind. What is menopause? Well, so if we see the human lifespan, what we find here is when a person takes birth, that is from infant it grows up to adult, and in adult phase they do the sexual reproduction. Okay, they do the sexual reproduction, and as a result of sexual reproduction they produce a new organism of their own type, that is, they produce a new infant. And now this infant again starts its life cycle, which keeps going on. So here the lifespan of parents is over, but the infant carries over, and this cycle keeps on repeating. As a result, the population never dies, but the organism. Okay, great. So this is holistically how population works. Well, we are going to study the human reproduction. What we are going to see in this chapter is, in detail, we are going to see the male reproductive system, female reproductive system. We are going to study how male and female gametes are produced, and the reproductive organs involved in it. What is the function of each and every organ? And after that, we will see how these gametes fertilize. Then we see the formation of embryo, followed by the development of fetus and childbirth. Okay, so this is all what we are going to see in this chapter. Well, so let us start the male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. Okay, well, before learning the male reproductive system, let me recall that humans are dioecious, right? That is, the sexes are separate. So we are unisexual or we are dioecious. That is, the two different sex organs or reproductive organs are present on two different individuals. They are not present on the same individual, correct? And so that is, in human population you will find male and female. At the same time, both male and female are morphologically distinct. That is, just from physical appearance, one can identify, or I should say, can distinguish between male and female. This phenomena is called sexual dimorphism, right? So humans show sexual dimorphism, that is, the humans, that is male and female, have different morphologies. So sexual dimorphism. Well, obviously, on a male organism, male human being, the male reproductive structures are present and they are going to produce the male gamete, that is the sperm, while the female have the female reproductive system and they are going to produce ovum, that is the female gamete. Okay, so let us start the male reproductive system. Now, when we are talking about the male reproductive system, it is comprised of three things mainly. It is comprised of, number one, a pair of testes. Second, accessory ducts and glands, and third is external genitalia. Okay, so there are these three main things: a pair of testes, those are the primary sex organ, male sex organ. Second is accessory ducts and glands, and third is external genitalia. Well, uh, obviously we are going to see testes in detail, and then when we are talking about accessory ducts, it mainly includes the vas deferens, okay, and urethra. When it comes to gland, it includes the seminal vesicle, prostate, and bulbourethral gland. And in external genitalia, it includes the penis. Okay, great. So we are going to see them. Let me draw this diagram for you, and then we will look at each of these organs in detail. Well, so as we can see here, these are the diagrams from NCERT book. Well, as I said, the male reproductive system is comprised of a pair of testes. So here are these two testes, a pair of testes, and then there are accessory ducts. So these ducts, can you see, which is called vas deferens, right? Now, plus this urethra, these all are part of the accessory duct. Apart from that, we said that there is accessory glands, and these accessory glands are seminal vesicle, prostate, and bulbourethral gland. Well, and finally, we said that there is a external genitalia, and external genitalia is represented by the penis. Okay, so the male reproductive system has these main parts, that is a pair of testes, the accessory ducts in the form of vas deferens. There are other ducts as well, that is which are part of epididymis, and then vas deferens, and then urethra. Accessory glands in terms of seminal vesicles, that is a pair of seminal vesicle are there, one prostate gland, and again a pair of bulbourethral gland, and finally the external genitalia in terms of penis. Well, now as we can see here in this image, as we can see here, a pair of testes are present in a loose fold of skin called scrotum. Okay, to get a better feel, look at this image. Can you see this scrotum? Well, so this is a loose fold of skin which is hanging outside the body in the groin area. Groin area is the area between the thighs, between the two legs, right? That is called groin area. So both male and female reproductive systems are present in the groin area, okay, in the pelvic area. Well, so in males, from groin area there is a pair of pouch which is made up of loose fold of skin is hanging, and within these skin folds is the testis, right? And these skin folds are called scrotum or scrotal sac. So each sac has one testis in it. Great. Now these testes are the primary sex organ, primary male sex organ, as they are responsible for the production of the male gamete, that is sperm. Well, from these from each testis, one tube originates, and this tube or this duct is called vas deferens. Remember, this is called vas deferens. Can you see here? Here it is again, vas deferens, which is originating from this, right? Okay, from the testis. Now this vas deferens ascends, it goes up into the abdominal cavity, right? Now it goes into the abdominal cavity through this structure this canal-like structure called inguinal canal. Okay, can you see? So see here. Now here is the inguinal canal. Let me draw it for you. Let me draw it just a minute. Okay, let me make it from red only. So here is an inguinal canal kind of thing. Okay, so this is called inguinal canal that connects the scrotum with the abdominal cavity. Okay, and through this inguinal cavity a spermatic cord descends, and this spermatic cord contains the vas deferens plus blood vessels, nerve vessels, and everything. Okay, so it has both artery and vein, and then this vas deferens, and then some nerve bundles. These all form one thick bundle called spermatic cord, and that descends through this inguinal canal. Okay, now through this inguinal canal the artery, vein, and the nerve comes down up to the testis, whereas the vas deferens goes up from the testis into the abdominal cavity. Okay, since we are talking about inguinal canal, let me tell you that the testes in case of male are formed in the abdominal cavity. Okay, so when a male fetus is formed, in the male fetus, right, let me tell you that fetus is unborn child when it is still in the mother's womb, right? So at that point of time the testis develops, and it develops in the abdominal cavity just below the kidneys. Okay, so it is formed near to the kidneys. Now, so it remains inside the abdominal cavity before childbirth. Okay, in late pregnancy, these testes, yani ki a pair of testes, now they descends out of the abdominal cavity into the scrotum or scrotal sac, and they descends through this inguinal canal. Okay, so through this inguinal canal the testis descends down, but it still remains attached to its point of origin through this spermatic cord. Okay, and through this spermatic cord it receives the blood vessels, nerve supply, as well as the vas deferens is moving up from the testis into the abdominal cavity. Okay, great. Now this vas deferens goes up in the abdominal cavity, and then can you see here, it takes a turn. It takes a turn. See here, it is taking a turn over the ureter. It is mandatory. It is just not in picture, right? So it has to happen. It is always that the vas deferens takes a turn from the ureter and then starts to descends down again, and then it meets the seminal vesicle. Can you see? From here it might be confusing, but see in this picture, this is seminal vesicle, correct? Now this was the vas deferens. So in vas deferens meets the duct from the seminal vesicle, and then this combined duct enters into the prostate gland. Okay, and then in prostate gland it finally meets the urethra, because the duct that originates from the urinary bladder that carries the urine is called what? Urethra. So it joins the urethra. Now this urethra, this portion of urethra is surrounded by the prostate gland, which is a pear-shaped pink in color or dark red in color gland. It is single in number. Okay, then this urethra comes out of the prostate gland, and there is a small portion of this urethra which is uncovered, and that is called a naked urethra. Okay, or naked urinogenital tract now. And then starts the base of the penis. Now the penis that you see here, let me first clear this up, is not like this. The tissue of the penis is something like this here, and this penis actually originates from here. Okay, so this entire thing is the portion of the penis. So at the base of the penis lies a pair of bulbourethral glands, which are again part of accessory glands. Okay, and now the urethra enters into the penis. So the part of urethra which is in between this prostate and the penis is naked, and that is called naked urethra. Okay, great. And then it enters into penis, and finally it opens outside. Great. So this is the external or male reproductive system, okay, where penis is the external genitalia. Now when we see the penis, we find that this penis is made up of three tissues, okay, that we will talk later. Finally, at the tip there is glans penis, which has a retractable skin called foreskin. Okay, great. Now in many religions, this foreskin is removed, and the removal of foreskin is called circumcision. Okay, this is called circumcision. So in a lot of religions, this foreskin is removed at early age, and this whole process is called circumcision. The removal of foreskin is called circumcision. Okay, great. So this is overview of male reproductive system. Now what we are going to do is we are going to see in detail each and every organ or duct and glands of male reproductive system. Okay, great. Let us start. So the very first organ we are going to study is testis. Well, if we are talking about testis, let us first see how many. What is the number? One pair, right? So every human male has a pair of testes. Great. Secondly, shape is oval. Great. Now when we talk about where it is found, location, it is found in the scrotal sac, or we can say scrotum, right? Now the question is why the testis is present in the scrotum, why it is present outside the body. Okay, all of your organs are present inside your body, but testis is an organ which is very vital for the continuity of race, and still it is outside the body in the scrotum, a loose skin fold or skin pouch. Why it is so? It is so because the spermatogenesis, okay, the spermatogenesis, that is formation of a sperm, requires low temperature. Okay, how much low? Around 2 to 3 degrees Celsius lesser than your physiological temperature or your body temperature. Okay, now in order to achieve this low temperature, the testis descends down into the scrotum. Okay, the only reason is to maintain the temperature. So the testes are present in the scrotum sac for thermoregulation, that is temperature control, so that they can maintain the optimum temperature required for spermatogenesis. Okay, yaad rahega? Great. Now we have seen number, shape, location. Great. Let us see the structure of testis. So when we are talking about structure, let us see in detail. So here is or detailed structure of testis. So the testis has a outer covering layer. Okay, so this outer covering layer is nothing but outer protective layer, and can you see the outermost protective layer is called tunica vaginalis. Tunica vaginalis. Okay, now when we are talking about tunica vaginalis, obviously it is made up of connective tissue, primarily white connective tissue. So it is made up of white connective tissue, and it is protective in nature. So testes have this outermost protective layer called tunica vaginalis. Yaad rahega? Great. Now, inner to the tunica vaginalis, there is another layer which is called tunica albuginea. Can you see? So, inner to tunica vaginalis is tunica albuginea. याद रखिएगा, ये सवाल पूछा जाता है. Okay, so tunica vaginalis outer, tunica albuginea inner layer. Now this tunica albuginea is again a connective tissue, and this connective tissue tunica albuginea innervates, मतलब अंदर की तरफ ये मुड़ जाता है, innervates inside to make several compartments. ठीक है, तो बहुत सारे क्या करता है, ये कंपार्टमेंट बना देता है. कैन यू सी हियर? कैन यू सी, like this is one compartment, this is another compartment, this is third, this is another compartment. Can you see these compartmentalizations? Correct? और ये compartmentalization होता है because of the innervation of tunica albuginea. Now this innervation of tunica albuginea is called septa. This is called septa testis, या only septa, or septa is plural, singular is septum. Okay, so this tunica albuginea makes these partition walls called septum or septa. As a result, the entire testis gets divided into these small lobes, small compartments called टेस्टिकुलर लोब्यूल्स, है ना. तो ये जो आपके जितने भी ये सिंगल मैंने दिखाए हैं, ये सारे के सारे क्या है, दिस ऑल आर टेस्टिकुलर लोब्यूल्स. लाइक दिस इज one lobule, this is one lobule, this is another lobule, and so on. Great. So the testis is now divided into many lobules. Great. Now every lobule has these blind convoluted tubules called seminiferous tubules. Can you see? These are called seminiferous tubules, and these are what? These are blind convoluted tubules. These are blind convoluted tubules. Great. Why I am saying so? I am saying so because, see, these seminiferous tubules are something like this. That is, their one end is closed, only one end is open. So these are what? Blind tubes, because they have only one end. And secondly, they are not straight, rather they are convoluted, that is, they are folded. Okay, so these seminiferous tubules are blind and convoluted tubule, as you can see there. Great. Each lobule, each testicular lobule has around 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. Okay, so can you see? Each lobule has 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. When we are talking about seminiferous tubules, now these are very interesting because this is the most important structure of the testis, because inside the seminiferous tubules the spermatogenesis occurs. Okay, can you see? Now if you see a seminiferous tubule, if we take a transverse section of seminiferous tubule, what we find is there is this cuboidal epithelium, okay, and these cuboidal epithelium are also called germinal epithelium because these are the cells which forms the sperm, and in between there are some columnar cells which are basically the Sertoli cells or the nursing cells. So this is how a seminiferous tubule look from inside. This is the histology. Okay, if you cut a transverse section of a seminiferous tubule, this is what you find. So these are the germinal epithelium because they are going to produce the sperm, and these are Sertoli cells. We will see later when we will be studying this spermatogenesis, तो हम लोग इन सब के बारे में डिटेल में बात करेंगे. Okay, अभी as of now let me tell you that this germinal epithelium gives rise to primary spermatocytes. They undergo the reduction division. As a result, sperm is formed. Okay, so sperm is formed in the lumen of seminiferous tubules, and that's why they are the most important structure. Okay, okay, great. So seminiferous tubules, and each lobule has 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules, and inside the seminiferous tubule the process of spermatogenesis occurs. Sperm is formed. The Sertoli cells are the nurse cells. They are going to nourish the developing sperm. Okay, great. Now what happens, हम लोग यहाँ पे structure के point of view से देख रहे हैं. So every lobule has this 2 to 3 convoluted seminiferous tubule. Now these seminiferous tubules comes out of the lobule, each respective lobule, and can you see they come out and they form this straight tubule here in this region. In this region, can you see? Now this is called straight seminiferous tubule. So immediately after the lobules, they form straight seminiferous tubules. Now there are many straight seminiferous tubules. Each of these seminiferous tubules start to make junction, start to fuse with each other, right? Now let me, can you see here this portion? Now these all straight tubules are starting to merge with each other, forming a network-like structure, and this network-like structure is called retitestis. This is called retitestis. ये बार-बार पूछा गया है, याद रखिएगा. So this is retitestis. Now from this retitestis emerges these straight tubules. These are called efferent ductules, or they have another name called vas efferens. Vas efferens. याद रखिए, vas deferens and vas efferens are two different things. This duct which is coming out, this single duct, is vas deferens, but the ducts coming out of the testis to form the epididymis are called vas efferens. Okay, the ducts arising from retitestis and going to form the epididymis are called vas efferens. Okay, whereas vas deferens is the main single duct emerging or coming out of the epididymis. Okay, great. So now there is vas efferens. This is also called efferent ductulus. Okay, आप चाहे तो इसको vas efferens कहिए, vas efferentia कहिए, या efferent ductulus कहिए. These all are the same thing. Now these vas efferens now forms a very convoluted structure called epididymis. Okay, now this epididymis has again 3 parts. That is, the head of the epididymis, that is also called caputa, or body of the epididymis. Okay, and finally this is called the tail of the epididymis. So entire epididymis is divided into three parts. What are they? See, this one is called head of the epididymis, that remains inserted into the fold of tunica vaginalis above the cavity of tunica vaginalis. Okay? Second part is the main body of epididymis, and third, this area is called the tail of the epididymis. Okay, great. So there is tail of the epididymis. Now what happens in epididymis? All these various vas efferents actually start merging with each other to form a single broad or larger lumen tube called vas deferens or ductulus deferens. Can you see? इसी को हम क्या कहते हैं? vas deferens. Ductulus deferens or vas deferens are the same thing. Okay, so in epididymis they again merge or fuses to form finally a single tube called vas deferens. Okay, this is only from the structure point of view. Functionally इसमें क्या होता है? We will talk later. Okay, so finally this vas deferens comes out and it goes up through the spermatic along with the spermatic cord through the inguinal canal into the abdominal cavity, and then it goes and take a turn over the ureter and finally comes and meets the seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and then urethra. Okay, now as we have seen earlier, or as I've told earlier, there are arteries and veins that comes out or comes down from the abdominal cavity up to the testis. Can you see here? The red one are the arteries, the blue one are the vein, and these arteries, veins, vas deferens, and there are nerves as well, जो कि यहाँ पे नहीं दिखाया गया है. Okay, so these all are forming a single bundle called spermatic cord that comes through the inguinal canal. Okay, so this is the detailed structure of testis, only structure. Okay, functionally we have not studied it yet. Great. Well, so this is it for this video lecture. In next video lecture we will continue from this point. So keep taking a good care of yourself. Thank you.